All right, we said this again. This is the speech, one of the speeches that the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave in 1992, the beginning of 1992, shortly before he had a stroke, which rendered him unable to speak. So these speeches that he gave, this is like the, how do you say, the last directions for the for what we're supposed to do until the Rebbe comes and reveals himself, and Moshiach will build the third temple and bring us all to Jerusalem. When it's going to happen, I don't know. Driving is crazy, but it's supposed to happen any second. In any case, the Rebbe asked the question. So, okay, here's the preparation for the interim time until Moshiach comes, builds the temple, brings all the Jews back to their Jewish senses, doing Torah and all the commandments, and brings them all to the land of Israel. Until then, we have to read about it and understand it and what we're supposed to do. Says the Rebbe, let's look at a very interesting thing. When Moses asked the Jews to give, he related the message of God to the Jews, that God wanted all the Jews to bring material for the tabernacle. So the first thing that he talked about, the first thing that he requested was gold. The Rebbe said, why was gold the first thing that he talked about? Right, gold, at first glance, there wasn't as much gold as there was other things. And not only that, right, not everybody had so much gold. And even the Egyptians, when they went out of Egypt, they took all the Egyptian wealth. They didn't. The Egyptians themselves obviously had more silver and copper than they had gold, and they took out everything. Not only that, in the Holy Temple, in the tabernacle, gold wasn't used as much as silver was. No other things are worth as much. So how could it possibly be? According to this, we can say that the reason for this gold is in the Mishkan. Give me just one moment here, please. One moment. So why did he start with gold? According to this, we can say that the reason that the first thing that God requested from the Jews to bring was gold. Why? When God in the Torah, he lists the donations that a Jew has to bring, he begins with gold, because in this is expressing not the importance of gold on itself, without any connection to what the Jewish people brought. Right? Gold is there used to be a thing called alchemy. I don't know. They wanted to make everything into gold. Gold is certainly a very precious metal. But there were things that were more precious. There were the stones that were used in the breastplate. They were more precious. Why gold? Because God is trying to tell us the importance of a Jew. The first thing about a Jew is, and also about a Jew's donations, is gold. Gold is the metal that is the most precious of metals used in the temple. Gold. And also we find that every Jew, after the Torah was given, is exactly like this. Even when he's in this physical world, every Jew, even when he's in this physical world, and the Jew, when he's in the physical world, he looks like everybody else, acts like everybody else. But when the Jewish people are in this physical world and they have to build a tabernacle, and they have to build it also through silver and copper, and they are silver and copper are even more in amount, in quantity than gold is. Gold was less quantity in the tabernacle. Even when the Jew is in the physical world, Azai, then the first thing is that Jew has to know that you're gold. You are the son. Every Jew is rich. You're the son of the king. Even more, every Jew is like a king. What does that mean? I mean, every Jew is a king. It's not hard for a person to think he's a king, right? Until he gets into the world and he sees that he's not a king. That he has to be subservient to a lot of things. You have to follow the laws. You can't drive on whichever side of the street you want to. You can't just go into a bank and say, give me $1,000. Why? Who are you? What do you care? I need it. I'm the king. They won't give it to you. They'll call the police. Also, when a Jew gets into the world, sometimes he wants to do a Torah and the commandments, and he gets a little bit embarrassed, a little bit ashamed. Who am I? My friends are going to laugh at me. I'm not religious. All of a sudden, the world has this big effect on him. Every Jew should know, no, you are a king. That every Jew is relevant to gold. What is gold? Rosh Tevis Ze Hanoten Bari. This is explained. The Rebbe is going to have this in one of the letters from the Maharal, etc. That the first letters is going to say what is Zav and Kesef and Nechoshes. We're going to see Zav. The first letters of Zav is gold. Is the Zeh Hanotein Bari, the one who knows. This is giving in a healthy way. Oh. Zeh Hanotein Bari, one who gives in a healthy way. In other words, you're not giving a donation because you're afraid somebody is sick, so you give a donation that the person will get better, right? You hope God will help, or because some terrible reason that it's forced, you're forced to give money. Hanoten, a Jew gives, even though how he is in the physical world, you should know that a Jew, no matter what situation that you're in, a Jew is the ultimate level of health, spiritually and physically. Every Jew, that's the soul. The Jewish soul is always healthy. Even more. Nosef Lakach, in addition to the fact that giving gold expresses the highness of the Jew, because giving gold, we said, signifies giving in the most healthy way, purely to benefit the other person. Especially also here we're talking about making a holy temple. Right? There's a lot of ways to give. One of the ways to give is from richness. When a person is rich, so he gives because he feels the other person's need. He's not thinking about himself. That's the whole essence of what it means to build a tabernacle, a temple, a holy temple. Shekei and Akoach, that this ability to make a holy temple where God will dwell, this is by means of the Jews. That a Jew, even when he's in this physical world, nevertheless he's attached to God in a way of zahav, gold, in the most healthy way. Kishimeduber, when it's talking about the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and in the way that the Jewish people gave donations to the tabernacle, then there's also silver and copper. They really are more in amount than gold. And not only that, the Jewish people had more silver and copper than they did gold. Gold is rare. But when they're talking about building temple, then they talk about these other ingredients. But when we're talking about the Jewish people, the ones who make the tabernacle, the temple, then the first thing is gold. Because a Jew, gam biyoto metziut lamata, a Jew, even when he's in this physical world, and even if he doesn't act like a Jew, and even if he doesn't act like a human being, but the fact of the matter is that he's a Jew makes him relevant, first of all, to gold. Therefore, in his power, that he can make a holy temple to God. Now, maybe you can say this is a bit chauvinistic, and you're right. It certainly is. But someone once said this to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said, "You're right, but what can I do? I didn't create the world. This is the way that God created the world. And even if a Jew wants to, and certainly there were a lot of Jews that said, and in a way that's what Zionism is based on. Be normal like everybody else. What do we have to be the special people, God's chosen people? Come on. We'll just be a nation like every other nation. We'll be a people like every other people. We'll be human beings like every human being. We'll be a nationality like every other nationality. And we'll be a country like every other country. And we'll have a government like every other government. And we'll have laws like every other laws. And we'll be like normal people. It doesn't work. Because the fact of the matter is that Jews are God's chosen people, no matter what they say. No matter how much they deny it or they try to, to hide it or to oppose it. Every Jew, because they're chosen by God in Mount Sinai, is gold. We can say, that's the reason that the Jewish people were riboy zav kesef gam pashtas. That's why the Jews were rich when they left Egypt. Why? Why they had a lot of gold and silver? Because this comes as a result of their high quality. That because this fact, that's why they were rich. Dargel shel zahav. So automatically, this comes from this also richness physically, a lot of gold. So we're not saying that the Jews are better than everybody else. We're not saying that the Jews are superior to everybody else. We're saying the Jews are different. And the way the Jews are different is that they are public servants. Ideally, it's supposed to be a public servant. He's supposed to be the lowest of everybody in the country. He's a servant to everybody. He's supposed to provide everybody's needs. He's supposed to be in touch with everybody. The people, they don't have to provide for one another. They don't have to. But it's not their job. The leaders are supposed to provide for the people. That's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, now in our times, the leaders, the government seem to be the enemy of the people. That's the whole idea of why a king is supposed to be the ideal type of rulership, because the king is supposed to be one person that really has the welfare of the people in mind. That's what it's supposed to be. And that his whole life and his whole being is just to think about the people and to and he's supposed to be occupied with that every moment of his life. Ideally, he's not supposed to have even one moment for his time. That was King David, not one moment for himself. When kingship became corrupt and the kings had these parties and they were just, they took all the money for themselves and they didn't care, let them eat cake, then things became corrupt. But the idea is supposed to be that the Jewish people are public servants. And in that way, you can say that they're better. They're like kings. They're connected to the king. They are the kings themselves. But a king is a person that he hasn't got one moment for himself. And so he is gold, but the whole purpose of this gold is just to give to others. According to this, now we can understand in Parshas Vayakel, this is, in Vayakel is going to repeat. There's Vayakel and Pekude. That's the end of the book of Exodus. It's basically a repetition of what we're learning in these two Torah portions now, in Truma and Tetzaveh. Truma talks about building the tabernacle, the temple. And Tetzaveh, next week's Torah portion, is talking about the garments of the priests, the Kohen. And Vayakel, Pekude, just repeats this. Vayakel is talking about the tabernacle, and Pekude, it repeats the garments. But it's still talking about, in the Vayakel, Pekude is talking about what the Jews actually did give. Here's talking about the commandment of God to give. That's in these two portions. And in the end of the Exodus is talking about what the Jewish people actually did. This Machalekas Torah, this, over there in Vayakel, when it talks about the Jewish people actually giving, it talks about gold in one sentence and silver and copper in a separate sentence. Like it says, Vayabo anashim al anashim, kol nediv levav chach v'nezem, it says kli zahav, and that's one sentence, the vessels of gold. And the next sentence it says, each person that gave us the antunuvat zahav l'Hashem, right? Those are these two sentences talk about only gold. And then two sentences afterwards, it says, Kol Marim Trumas Kesef and Achoshes. It says silver and copper. According to the Ramban, he explains, because mentions the women, and the women, they didn't have any, that's what the Ramban says. They didn't have silver and copper. They only had gold in their jewelry. It says because gold is a totally different type of metal than silver or copper or anything else. Gold shows on completeness, the completeness and wholesomeness of every single Jew. Man, women, and we can say therefore the gold was by both of them. Both the men and the women had gold, but the women did not have the copper and the silver. That's according to the Ramban. That's why even the women, that they didn't have silver and copper, but they did have gold. They had gold in their ornaments. According to this, now we can understand the connection to the month of Adar. This month, today, and it's beginning in Parshas Truma. First of all, the month of Adar is a happy month. The Gemara says that the month of Adar is a healthy, good luck. The mazal of the month of Adar is healthy. We can ask a question. The rabbis say, what do you mean the mazal, the luck of the Jewish people is, it says that there is no mazal to Israel. The word mazal means luck. It also means like astrology, the confirmation, what is it? The form of the stars in the sky. That's what makes the mazal. The mazal is the zodiac, the sign of zodiac. So it says the mazal, the zodiac sign, also the luck, same thing, of the Jewish people is healthy in the month of Adar. 1 second. The rabbis say that the Jewish people don't have any mazal. In the Gemara Shabbat, it says that the Jewish people don't have any mazal. What is this? Oh, and the Jewish people are above the stars. What happened? Oh, there it is. It says, Ein mazal Yisrael. The Jewish people don't have any mazal. The Jewish people are above the stars and above the zodiac and all that. It's possible to say that what it says when Rashi says that the Jewish people don't have any mazal. Where does it say that Jewish people don't have any mazal? That's in the Marsha. The Marsha says, right, the Jewish people don't have any mazal. So once again, it says the mazal, the luck of the Jewish people is good. And another place it says the Jewish people, they're above luck. They're with God. And first of all, we have to understand, how is it possible to say, again, at first glance, maybe we can say that Rashi, when Rashi says there is no mazal for the Jewish people, means that what? That by means of prayer and by means of a person's good deeds, so he can change his luck. He can change what is in store for him from the stars, the mazal. Hainu, Bnei Israel, the Jewish people, they do have mazal. That's what the Gemara says, that in the month of Adar, it's a good mazal. But the Jewish people have the power to connect to something higher. And they can change their mazal, they can change their luck. But says the Rebbe, okay, that's an explanation, but this is not sufficient in regarding to the month of Adar. In the month of Adar, it says automatically that you do have good luck. It's a lucky month. Bori mazal, it says that your mazal, the zodiac, is strong for the Jews. What does it mean? That by means of some other power, namely the month of the prayer or merit, you can change the mazal, yes. But in this month of Adar, it's good. It's not that we can change it. You don't have to change it. It's automatically a good month. So what does it mean? The Jewish people do have mazal or they don't have mazal? Here it says that they, let's say the explanation is like this. In the source of the Jewish people are not under the rulership of the stars or any sort of spiritual influences, God forbid. Like it says, El derech hagoyim al talamdu me'osel shamayim al techatu ki yachtumu goyim mehema. It says in Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah says, don't be like the non-Jews, that they depend on the stars, that they are under the influence of the zodiac, of the constellations, etc. Don't do it. It's a big mistake. The novelty of the Jewish people, it's not just that we're above that. The novelty of the Jewish people is more. That even when a Jewish person comes into the world, and his soul's in his body, ba'olam hateva, and he's under all the laws of nature, and his body nidmek b'chum yoso, and his body seems to be just like the body of a non-Jew. That the non-Jews, it says, they are definitely under the influence of the stars. Nevertheless, you should know that even here, a Jew is in a situation, even in the world, a Jew is not under the influence of the stars. Even down here. It's not that we are under the influence, but we can change it by means of our deeds. No, a Jewish person is not under the influence of, that's why it's forbidden for us to go in the future, to go in the future according to the zodiac or crystal balls or these other things. Even though the zodiac could be right, the astrology could be right 98% of the time. But the Jew, that's not for the Jews. That other 2% is enough that the Jews have to keep away from it. And therefore, the Jews have the power by means of prayer and by means of merit, they can actually change any sort of bad thing that happens to them. But all this is only an upper power, right? Prayer. This is not the mazel in itself. The novelty of the month of Adar is more than just the zodiac, more than just the luck. Even as a Jew is here below, and he is under the influence of the stars, yes, and he's found in a world where Islay Dina Bahani Nakhri, and it could be that the non-Jews are making trouble for him, until it says that the month of Av, don't go to court with an enemy, a non-Jew. It says in the month of Adar, the mazel is healthy. Immediately, when the month of Adar comes in, without any work at all, it says automatically the mazal, the luck, the spiritual influence of the Jew in the month of Adar, it's already healthy. And that you don't, to the degree that even a non-Jew can also feel this. How? Because it says if you have a court case, take it in the month of Adar. Adar is a lucky month for the Jews. Especially this year, we have 2 Adars. 2 Adars. We can even add on to what an inner explanation. Ein Mazel Yisrael, the Jewish people do not have any mazal. The Jewish people are not under the stars. We can look at it another way. No, Ein, this Ein Sof, the infinite one, Ein means that there is the no end. The infinite one, the God, namely Ein, that is the mazel of the Jewish people. That the mazel of the Jewish people is ayin, total surrender and harmony with God. That's the mazel of the Jews. That's what influences the Jews. The novelty of this is not only the Jewish souls as they are in their source, but even the mazel, this level of ayin, namely the essence of God, Ein Sof, it's nozel, it drips down to below. That's where the word mazel means to drip down. Godliness that drips into the world. The mazel, what drips down to the Jewish people, is not through the stars, not through the angels, not through any spiritual forces, but from ayin, from the essence of God himself. Ein Sof. Just like a Jew is below in this physical world, and the whole world is under the influence of the stars, the Islay Dina Bahari Nakhri, and the non-Jews are making trouble for him. Nevertheless, a Jew has to know that his mazel is ayin, that he is completely in harmony and surrendered, unified with God. That's a Jew. Kamaduver, like we said before, that the inner will of every Jew, that's why every Jew is gold. The inner Jew of every Jew is to do what God wants. Until that this is expressed in the fact that Bari Mazli, that is health, that he has a healthy mazal, that even his luck, even the spiritual influences that he gets from heaven is healthy. Maslow is borei v'tokiv, that his luck, the spiritual forces that come down into the world that affect your day-to-day life, the things that happen to you seemingly because of your luck, you have good luck, you have bad luck. The month of Adar, it's healthy and it's strong, and everyone can see it, even the non-Jews can see it. And with this, we can understand also the connection to Adar, to the parsha of Truma, where we're building the Holy Temple. And this we're going to talk about, God willing, more tomorrow. What the importance of gold is. And now you have to understand something, I think very important, and I want to say this in a very short way. After the Holocaust, so the Jews were very, very, depressed. And they wanted to keep as low a profile as possible after the Holocaust, and especially religious Jews. A lot of people said, oh, the reason was the Holocaust because we didn't have guns, we didn't fight for ourselves, right? Like the religious people. They're the ones that caused the Holocaust because they believed in God. And okay, let's not go into that. But the fact is these people were wrong. But nevertheless, a person has to be inspired some way. And there was nothing to make the Jewish people proud. The pride, the joy of being a Jew was gone. There were all these people, millions of people were killed just because they were Jews. So it's like, what's the reward for being a Jew? You get killed. You get the concentration camp. Nobody knows who we are. Nobody knows if you're dead. Nobody knows if you're buried. Came along the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he changed that. The Lubavitcher Rebbe came along in the same spirit as the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov also came along after terrible tragedy with the Khmelnytsky massacres in Europe. And he changed all that. And he said, listen, the tragedies are tragedies, but let's not forget about the good thing. Let's not make it worse than it is. It's bad enough. No one can touch the Jewish soul. No one can ever touch the Jewish soul. No one can ever destroy the Jewish people. But the Jewish people, they can destroy their own mood. They can destroy their own mood. If a person is not proud, he's not brave, he's not positive, it's because he doesn't realize who he is. We have to realize who we are. And so the Rebbe stressed it. Do a commandment. Don't worry. You want to take revenge on Hitler? Put on tefillin. You want to fix up what the Nazis destroyed? Keep Torah and the commandments. Marry a Jewish girl. Have a Jewish family. Learn the Torah. You'll see that we'll defeat all this evil in the world. Don't let the evil. And that's what the Rebbe is doing here. Every Jew is gold. Every Jew is eternal. Every Jew is connected to Ein Sof. Even the day-to-day luck of a Jew is connected directly to God. And we can especially see this in the month of Adar. And that's the whole idea of everybody making themselves into a holy temple. By means of this, we make it God's world and not Hitler's world. We make the world a world of good and love, not of bad and of hatred. We make the world a place that's meaningful and blessed, and not a world that's just confusion and destruction. That's the purpose what the Rebbe wants, to activate the Jewish people to make this world into a holy temple, to make the world gold. Let's now look at the Yom Yom, and then we have to go. Many Hasidim considered to be the day that they arrived in Lubavitch, that they first saw the Rebbe. That was their birthday. My teacher, Rebbe Shmuel Betzalel, this is the previous Rebbe speaking, he arrived in Lubavitch the first time in Parshas Mishpatim last week in 1848. Every year after that, he would stay awake that whole night, and he would put on his tefillin exactly the time when he went in to see the Tzemach Tzedek. That was the third Rebbe of Chabad for the first time. And that was like a spiritual Jewish birthday. Have a good day with Moshiach now. 3 o'clock, God willing, we're learning Chumash. Hope to see you.